This is the Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
Let's go nuts! It's Jimmy Nuts! Drive out with a car!
With your hosts, Mark Martinez.
Remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things.
And the English Professor.
It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
Hey, this is former WWE superstar Duke, the Dumpster Drosy, and you are listening to the Can Crushers Podcast.
And welcome to Can Crushers. Normally you hear me screaming like a lunatic. Mark Martinez alongside in studio. Open back up is the guru Chad Piranha. On the old Skype in Pittsburgh is the English Professor. Guys, how are you doing? What a somber week in wrestling.
Yeah, this is all around between anniversaries of older wrestlers passing we were close to, and Owen Hart's show, and some other things in that. This week sucked. It was very hard week for a wrestling fan.
Yeah, anytime you deal with one tragedy, it's pretty rough. But there were two in the span of within the week, in the span of a few days. So the wrestling world's kind of reeling right now. We'll get to the Owen Hart episode of Dark Side of the Ring, but we've kind of it's been 21 years, so we've processed a lot. There was still some new information and sort of some new, I don't think revelation is overstating it, at least for me anyway. Definitely a good episode, definitely a tragic episode. But there was a lot of fun stuff too, guys. So we're going to get to all of that, right?
Yeah, we'll get to all of that, especially last night's pay-per-view. We had a few beers watching that, but there's no other way to start, and we'll just kind of go through the timeline of this week. We find out that Shad, Gaspard and his son were swimming off the coast, and I don't want to say a riptide pulled him under, and you know he does resurface on shore a few days later. But the story of this is what an amazing father! What an amazing father, as he pretty much tosses his kid to the Coast Guards to save his life, knowing that, his might be at demise if he can't get out of this, and that's what happens. Shad Gaspard, from Crime Time, if you guys are just, you don't know him, or you really haven't really looked into it this much this week, what a great human being. Take the wrestling out of this. What an amazing human being. And I have something that I read early this morning. I don't know if you guys know, but I'll give you guys your thoughts to talk about Shad a little bit. John, you want to go first?
Yeah, I had mentioned to you at one point, I didn't know who he was. I mean, I didn't know who he was. I wasn't really watching wrestling at the time. I was flipping through and may have come across Raw or SmackDown years ago and saw two guys robbing old ladies in a retirement center, and I was like, what the hell is this? Like, they showed up to sing Christmas carols to bring joy to the elderly and then robbed them. Controversial, hilarious, but that was it. Honest to God, I never, unfortunately, these things sometimes happen this way, I never watched one of his matches. And it maybe takes something like this to go back and watch some of his matches. But like you said, Mark, that aside, clearly not what's important. What is important is the ultimate sacrifice this guy made for his son, knowing full well what would happen to him. And you say maybe or could have. My guess is there probably wasn't much doubt in his mind, but he did it anyway.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. I was trying to not be PC. I was just trying to give a little bit of glimmer of hope in his last minutes or something that he would hope. So, Chad?
Yeah, this one I heard of happening when I got up in the morning. And I knew from my time in Florida and other places in the military about the riptides, and my instant thought was, this is not good. And my heart sank. Was I a, huge Crime Time fan or anything like that? No. But I knew who he was. He was a big guy. I mean, and he was
it when we saw him at WrestleCade.
I was just gonna say, when we saw him at WrestleCade, he took time to talk to us. He had a smile on his face. I mean, he was somebody that you could have not known a damn thing about and been like, this dude was freaking cool.
Yeah.
And then when you hear about the accident, and there was a lot of misreporting at first, they were swimming 200 yards offshore, and it comes out to be that they weren't even 50 feet offshore, which is one of the more dangerous areas with these tides. And then it comes out about the lifeguard that went out, said, 2 people there, and he gets out there, and there's this huge, guy that he estimated around 300 pounds, and his son, saying how the equipment wasn't built for the both of them. There was no way he could get to both of them at the same time. And Shad pushed his son and said, get my son safe. He got him on the preserver, got him in, and looked around, and a wave crashed over Shad, and that was the last they saw of him until his body washed up. I put this in a post on Facebook. I hope someday to be half the man and half the father that he was, because there's no greater sacrifice, there is no greater man than to have done what he did for his son. There just isn't any better person to do something like that.
I agree.
Chad, you mentioned misinformation that's out there. It's an interesting point, and I don't know. I don't want to blame the media or anything like that for jumping on a story before they know all the facts, or if it's human nature and our inability to process these sorts of things to find a thing to blame. Sometimes things just happen, What's the point of saying, and we can learn from things, but what's the point of saying they were where they shouldn't have been, they were too deep, when you don't know that that's the case just yet? It doesn't solve anything, it doesn't help anything. And again, maybe this misinformation is just our way of handling things that we don't know how to process, but it doesn't do any good. I don't think it does any good.
This was bad to me because it didn't sound right. 200 yards offshore, that's 600 feet on a reopened beach, storms approaching. It just didn't sound right. And, I agree, John. I think it's sometimes, I'll say this about the news media. I think in their time of wanting to get ratings and scoops and stuff like that, they're going to report things that could have possibly happened. And I hate to say it, in hope to being the one to have that scoop. This report, the first reports were coming from TMZ, so I didn't put a lot into them as it was. These were the same ones that reported when Kobe Bryant's helicopter crashed that him and his family were on board and all of them were killed. And that's how Kobe's wife heard about this. It's just, I think they need to shut up in situations like this. But it's news. It's ratings turn into money, and unfortunately, any publicity is publicity to these channels and stuff like that.
It's a hard truth, but I can't disagree at all with you.
There is a GoFundMe out there, guys. I believe I shared it on Facebook. If not, I will make sure I do. Just last night, because it's out there now. Just last night, somebody made a $40,000 donation to the charity, and it was the man himself, John Cena. He shared the ring with Crime Time a few times, and he's humbled himself, and I believe he put a tweet out, kind of just referencing that he gave to it and everything. Guys, if you can support that, I know times are tough. I really do. This is something, $5 can go a long way. $5 from the three of us is multiplied by $5 from 3 more people down the street, and that's pretty awesome. Whatever you can do, give it to Shad, his family, because this one's rough. This one was really rough.
Don't forget about the collar and elbow shirt.
Collar and Elbow also has a shirt. It's the Iron Mike Tyson shirt that he wore years ago. Brooklyn, John, I'm going to get this wrong. You might help me out. Brooklyn born, Brooklyn tough, Brooklyn, something like that. You don't remember it. All right.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Collar and Elbow made a shirt. All proceeds going to the family as well. Guys, I would ask if you order that shirt from Collar and Elbow, don't use the Can Crushers promo code. You would get a discount, but don't use the Can Crushers discount code. Let that little extra money go towards them. So,
did you guys see the video and post about the memorial service?
Yeah, I did.
That
like
took place.
Over 5,000 people, was it?
Yeah,
showed up.
The wrestlers that they named a bunch of them that showed up. Kofi Kingston, Big E, a bunch of the other guys. Seth Rollins went. I can't imagine. I know what it's doing to me. I mean, I'm sitting here tearing up as it is, thinking about it. It isn't right.
Brooklyn's own beast, Shad Gaspard.
There you go. That's what it is. Great, gray shirt, black lettering is pretty awesome. No good transition. No good transition can move along. Next up, we had the passing of a 22-year-old wrestler, Hana Kimura. Hana Kimura, part of Stardom. She's been on a Netflix show, and that's kind of where this kind of blows up to a point. Some stuff happened on a Netflix show, and then when it aired, she's been bullied. Guys, this is where I'll probably get a little heated. Bullying, man. Her tweet was unbelievable. Reading the tweet, I cried. She pretty much told everybody on Twitter that she was done. She was going to, take her own life, and she loved everyone. She was weak though, and man, Kimura putting it out there, and then committing suicide because of bullying. Bullying's got to stop, guys. It really does. I mean, one word can change somebody's life, good or bad. And a lot of the bad, the keyboard warriors just pounding on her about that situation is unbelievable. John?
What did they even have to say? Like, I'm not even sure. It doesn't matter. I guess it doesn't really matter what they said. I guess my point is, and this is going to sound tough, there were deeper lying issues there, and she maybe needed to get some help before it got to this point. And I don't want to emphasize the fact that she said she's weak, because that's not the point of all this. Delete your social media. Just put yourself in a positive place. try to get away from this garbage if this is what it's doing to you. I just, last night on AEW, they said something effective, senseless or stupid, and it's kind of harsh, but either put yourself in a positive place or maybe get the help you need, or maybe there was something much, much deeper. Not to disagree with what you're saying about bullying, because it is real, and it does have lifelong consequences, guys. It really does. And a lot of these times, like you say, Mark, keyboard warriors, they're unsure of themselves, and they're casting that out on other people. I just wish she would have found a different outlet than the one she took, because she had a pretty promising career, and now she doesn't, and now she doesn't. I feel there may have been other options for her.
Yeah, I got Parse, just real quick. I agree with John, and I'll take it a step further. I don't care anybody that's in this situation, whether it's bullying, depression, PTSD, do anything, whatever you have to do before. Do anything you need to do to make that final option that you're thinking of obsolete. Call somebody, get off of the social media, get a hold of somebody. And I know, a lot of people, it's easy to say you haven't been in that situation. Yeah, I have. To the point of where I was sitting on my couch with a gun. Different reasons, not bullying, but same thing. Do what you need to do. It's just that simple, because you can't take back that last choice of yours if that's the way you decide to go. Just talk to somebody, anybody. Find somebody, something, whatever. On the bullying side, and this may rub some people the wrong way, you pieces of trash, if you're listening to this, that do this kind of stuff, you're not big, you're not brave, you're not smart, you're not better than anybody. Cut the crap. Because one day, this shit's going to come back around, and it's going to bite you in the ass. And I don't profess to be Mr. Religion or anything like that, but you're going to have to answer one day for these type of sins. Just cut it out. Don't pick on the weaker people, regardless of what kind of bullying it is or anything like that. Don't, just stop. You're gaining nothing. And when people find out who it was, if there's charges pressed or anything like that, these are the type of people that should have the absolute law thrown at them. You're picking on a weaker person. Congratulations, you just went up the douchebag scale to about number 1. Just cut the shit.
One bit of advice that I would pass along, just something that's been said to me about a situation like this. I'd rather get a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning and sit with you for 3 days than, listen to a 15-minute, eulogy. Call us. Literally call. I'm throwing this out there for me. Call us, tweet us, get a hold of us. I'll come and sit, because it's not worth giving up your life for, if we're going to go down that path, douchebags behind a keyboard. It really isn't. Another...
Can I...
Yeah.
Just one other quick thing, guys. There is a National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. Can I throw this number out there quick, Mark?
Of course.
Yeah. All right, 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. If you're having a tough time, guys, give them a call.
Another transition. It was horrible. And this one, Tuesday night, 10 o'clock. I couldn't watch it live because I had to go to work and I knew I was going to cry, so I might as well cry when I'm getting ready. The Dark Side of the Ring, Owen Hart, and John, go ahead, because I have a little bit of a story, and you'll probably touch on it the night that it happened. So go ahead.
Yeah, just very quickly, 3 quick things. Something like that happens to you, and how do how does your family move on? Or if something happens to somebody in your family, how do you move on? I can't believe how well-adjusted Martha, Oj, and Athena are. She's just out of college, I guess, trying to be a reporter. He's a lawyer. Wrestling, and we've said this before, we've had people on the show, and this is something we've learned. I'm not trying to be funny here, but Mark, when you and I, we reached out to the Killer Bees, and it went back and forth, and they're busy guys, and they gave us the best interviews we've ever had. They were the kindest gentlemen, but I will never forget when Jim Brunzell said, well, I'm in Minnesota, and Brian's in Tampa, and we were like, honest to God, you guys, Mark and I thought the Killer Bees lived together. Why wouldn't they?
Right.
Meanwhile, they have grandchildren and live their own lives, and they get together at conventions and maybe talk on the phone once in a great while, or they don't. I don't know. But we thought they lived together. My point is, what did I learn about Owen Hart here? Wrestling was a moment in time, maybe even a blip on the radar, in the grand scheme of things. He was so much more to so many more people. They took the walk in the catwalk, which would have been really scary. I don't know that I could have, for several reasons, the height, and then I don't know that I could have been able to. I would not have been brave. Yeah, I would not have been brave enough to do that because of the height and to be able to face what someone I loved endured. I don't think I could do that. So that they were much tougher than I will ever be. And from the wrestling standpoint, and maybe this is bad because the other stuff is much more important, Jericho killed me when he said, think of who was on the horizon. I'm like, oh, no, Eddie Guerrero.
That's a great point.
Angle. Even Jericho himself. He didn't throw his own name in there, but throw his name in there. Edge and Christian were on the cusp of solo careers after a brilliant tag team career.
That they couldn't
Benoit. Oh, my God. Can you imagine Owen Hart one-on-one with any of those guys? It would have been art. It would have been art.
Yeah, Chad, your thoughts?
This was one episode that I look forward to the whole season, because I wanted to find out more, see what they disclosed more. Like John said, outside it's great. Martha's a doctor now. They have the Owen Hart Foundation helping, single parents, single mothers, and that both of the kids are doing great. It was nice to see from a bad situation like this, the difference, and I hate to bring it up, but with Chris Benoit's son and the type of pain and harassment and bullying and crap that he's gone through since Chris did what he did, and then to see these kids a different angle and how far they've come. Watching this, the catwalk creeped me out. I'm not scared of heights, but about the second that I would have looked down, I probably would have fainted, just because of what it was. Seeing the clip and really understanding that clip had no business whatsoever being hooked to a 240-pound human being with another 30 pounds of costume on him. one, I don't know how far you want to talk about this in parts, but
keep going. My story will wrap it up.
To see the family turning on them, and I always thought Bruce and Keith and them were kind of douchebags as it was, but to, basically not support Martha and steal evidence from them to give to the WWE in hopes that, Vince was going to throw him a little bone at some point, basically. That just kind of showed me the type that those people were. And I remember back to when the Dirtbags brought Stu and Helen, or I'm sorry, just Stu, to ringside, and he didn't know what the hell was going on, and they were saying stuff, and this was while the lawsuit was going on. They did that on a Raw. Just that's trash. Come to find out, Vince offered Helen, and this was outside of the show. I knew this from before. Vince offered Martha, $90 million to settle it out of court, but he wanted a signed affidavit and statement releasing WWE from any wrongdoing and stuff like that. Basically, he wanted his own ass covered, and he wanted the person with the lawsuit to cover it for him, and she turned it down. That said a lot to me. I don't know. I think after seeing this too, I think Bret Hart, although his talent's in the ring, I think he's kind of a douchebag. Trying to get, and I wholly believe this, trying to get Martha to throw into the lawsuit because he didn't have a relationship with WWE. He wanted to get a hold of his videos, video library, and stuff like that, and get rights to that.
Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
She was just, it seems like Martha was just, when she needed family the most, she was up the proverbial shit creek without a paddle. And it's just sad. And there's a thing about Diana wrote a book saying all this stuff about all of them, that Owen was dicking around on Martha in every town, and that her and Bret had a fling the night the British Bulldog, they found out he died. It's just it's just trash. Just trash at that point with those people.
There's not a thing Diana says that I think is believable, unfortunately. The only extra point I wanted to make here is, guys, we're all sons of mothers. We're all married, and we all know how that dynamic can be. Now factor in 11 more siblings. I believe some of them were looking out for themselves. I believe some of them were looking out for what they thought was best for Owen Hart and his legacy. I was happy to hear, and I did not know this, I didn't know Bret took Martha to the funeral home, and she couldn't handle it. She went to run away, and he held her, and he forced her to kind of to face this, which is the right thing to do. I don't disagree with you, Chad, about Bret Hart. As much as I love his in-ring work, I can't disagree about some of the things. But I feel like, for the most part, other than stealing documents to give to the defense, they wanted what they thought was best for his legacy. But here's the thing. All of you crying about Owen in the Hall of Fame or not in the Hall of Fame, he doesn't belong to you guys. He doesn't belong to us. He didn't belong to Stu and Helen anymore. He was a married man with children. He belonged to Martha, Oj, and Athena. And that's it. That's the truth. That's the extent of it. I don't live with my parents anymore, guys. I live with my wife and children. If something happens to me, despite my mom's wishes and these idealistic theories she has of what should happen to me, my wife knows what I want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and Oj said, in a sense, You don't get his name. We get it. And they deserve it. They deserve his name. It won't be on a plaque. That's fine, you guys. They're okay with it. They're the ones who need to be okay with it.
One last thing. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, just tag on, John, I understand you saying, the people, so many of the Hart family looking out for their own interests and stuff. I'd say it's money. None of them really did well with their money. I can see it, but the underlying factor with it is the fact that none of them were going to get anything in WWE except for some, I hate to put it this, little bitch payment for them being snitches or something like that. Or maybe they're going to get a storyline where they get beat by a masked hornswoggle or something. I lost my train of thought thinking about.
I'll wrap this one up, and then we need to move along because we're on the cusp of being. We're all going to cry again. My thoughts watching this. You guys know these two are the brains, the historians of the show. When I do remember things, it is very much because of friends and family and everything. And John, you were here during that night, and you know that we've converted Mom's house into our house in the studio and everything. And I pictured 20 to 25 of us again down here, packed into this room. It was third or fourth match of the night or whatever. It's insignificant. When it happened, and this is what brings me back, the memory there, you had 25 people. There was a hush. We were lunatics in this house. You've heard the stories of John breaking chairs repeatedly, and my mom coming down and yelling. Of course, my mom was upstairs again. I was 18, still in college, coming back. We were older than that, 20, whatever. Nonetheless.
20 or 21, yeah.
Yeah. Still getting out of college the first time. And when it's quiet, then all of a sudden, Mom came down and peeked her head in, and it was just a rough night that night. We were all just, man, what the hell happened? And then Mom came down, and again, she had no stock in wrestling, no stock in us most of the time. She started because we were crying. It was just, it brought back that memory to us, to me. And I was trying to tell my wife and my son about it, and I know you watched it with your son, John, and he had a rough time with it. It was just, I waited all season for this one to let out some 21-year-old emotions that I had in, and it was for me, it was a nice cleanse. It hurt, but it was a nice cleanse. I do want to ask both of you, and we're going to keep it short. Should the event have gone on? Because I'm pushing you both to something that was said during the episode. That night, we didn't know, John. We were like, holy shit, it's still going. They're still going to wrestle. Jeff Jarrett's crying in rings. Everybody, it was just an emotional, and I'm shocked that they let it go on, but what do you guys both think? Because you know where I'm going. It was a crime scene. It was a legit crime scene. How the hell could that happen?
That's it. You answered the question right there, Mark. I at the time thought, well, there are more matches to have, and Undertaker needs to wrestle Steve Austin. Because we didn't know. We honestly didn't know what was going on. At some point during the broadcast, Jim Ross had to tell us all what happened. We were kind of numb and not even really thinking about the matches after we heard that news. I don't know the law. I'll take Martha Hart's word for it. At that point, it's a crime scene. You have to get the police and the proper people involved to investigate, which means stopping the show, telling everybody to go home.
Yeah.
It was a crime scene. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts around it. You have a person that's dead that fell from the ceiling. You got to find out. Man, in the first 24 hours is when you do the most. You got to find out what the hell happened. Did he kill himself? Did something break? Did somebody push him? It's a crime scene no matter what. The show should have stopped. It was... Jim Cornette said it was bullshit, but it was Vince McMahon not giving a shit about anything besides lining his pockets. And if he would have... The cops should have stopped the show as it was. But if Vince McMahon would have stopped the show, you know, there's the potential about money loss and everything like that. I don't care. I do not care. It was a crime scene. It was a decent thing to do. For, you know, one of the lasting images I'll have of this show is when Martha was saying this and they were zoomed in on the part where the frickin' ring was broke.
And the blood stain.
And the, you know, 2 foot plus blood stain. God. It's like, I wouldn't have gone in. No. I would have told Vince to... All right, we're off. But, yeah, it should have been stopped. There's no... He would have wanted the show to go on or anything. Owen was so disenfranchised with wrestling at that point that he was there to collect a paycheck, give the performances that he was noted for, and when his contract was up, he was done, and he was going to be a firefighter.
Montreal and not knowing what to do with one of the greatest talents of all time.
Yeah. All right. Transitioning. We're gonna turn this around because some great stuff did happen in wrestling this week. And quickly, guys, Collar and Elbow. You heard us talk about it earlier about the shirt with Shad. Check out collarandelbow.com. They got some great shirts, hats, hoodies, tees, and everything. And when you do buy anything besides the Shad shirt, use our promo code CANCRUSHERS. All one word, capital C in can, capital C in crusher. You'll get 10% off. All right, here comes Al, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to spin this around. You're going to think it's a completely different podcast because, man, oh, man, does AEW bring it again.
Wrestling. A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. The wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. 2 entities working together to create a product that connects emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
Yes, sir. This is B. Brian Blair asking you to turn into the Can Crushers podcast, or you're going to get stung.
Terry and Dory, Dory and Jimmy Jack, Bravo and Valentine, Valentine and Beefcake, the Boulder Brothers, the Mega Powers, the Mega Maniacs.
Whoa, what?
Ventura and Adonis.
Wait, stop. What are you doing?
Adonis and Murdoch. I'm still Murdoch and Rhodes.
What?
I'm naming teams that were better than the Road Warriors in the ring.
Stop.
Picking up from last week.
Stop. All right. That's enough. That's enough. We're going to keep this shtick going for 30 years, aren't we?
There are that many teams that are better than the Road Warriors.
30 years or 1,000 tag teams, whichever comes first.
He's already done 1,000 tag teams. He's had to have. All right, guys, let's check in on AEW. We'll start with Wednesday's show, and then we're going to a big portion of this is going to be last night's pay-per-view because Chad and I drank a lot of beer. I couldn't drink a beer today if you asked me.
No, I'm done for today.
Yeah. Again, John, we can't wait till you can get your ass here and we can watch pay-per-view together, do the show together on a Sunday. It'd be great, but I digress.
That's fun. I can't wait.
The Inner Circle starts by telling the Elite to watch the hell out, and that was it. Boom. Then you have Chad's favorite guy from the Dark Circle, the Dark Order Circle.
Dark Order.
Yeah. 10 taking on Moxley. Guys, I want to tell you one thing, though. I signed up to be part of the Dark Order.
What are you going to be, the water boy?
Mark.
I signed up to be part of it. I think
Mark,
I need...
It's bad news.
I need some guidance. You guys are always steering me down the wrong way. I went to darkorder.com and I filled out their application. So we're going to see what happens.
Look how he treats his people, Mark. What is wrong with you?
Well, that's about the way Mark treats us.
Maybe I need better guidance. I need better guidance to corral you two in.
I guess. You are the Brody Lee of this podcast.
Wow. He's got a better beard. He does have a better beard. Brody, all in all, we really want to get to the pay-per-view. Moxley beats the shit out of 10, and we think he breaks his arm. But he doesn't.
Correct.
He only...
Quick question: is 10 somebody? Is he the? Is
Of course
somebody
he's
we know? Do you think?
Of course he's somebody.
He's not nobody. We know that, right?
Right.
Do you think he's the same person every week?
He is the same person every week, and I don't have my finger on it, but I've seen him before. He's somebody that we've seen. Yeah. And Shad agrees with me. He now is out sitting on the porch. I don't know why he's leaning so far back. He's riding dirty all of a sudden.
The other thing I wanted to mention about Wednesday night is that promo with Moxley is one of the best I have ever seen. I was laughing when he said something to the effect of, life is a series of disagreements that ultimately ends in violence. You have to move your car. I don't want to move my car. We're going to give you a fine. I'm not going to pay it. Give me my belt back. I don't want to give you your belt back. I'm going to break his arm. I don't care. He's brilliant. He's got it, and he's using it well.
Yeah. You got know you got something on Mox. Hard on.
I'm sorry. Week after week, he's got to be. If he isn't the best in the business on the mic right now, he's got to be close. This shows the brilliance of the man in his promos. Just bouncing around. It's funny as hell when he gets started because you don't know what he's going to come up with. It's kind of like a much better version of Scott Steiner. When Steiner would get on the mic, you didn't know what he... Now, hold on.
That's a slap in the face.
You didn't know what Steiner was going to come up with, but you knew it was going to be entertaining. Ambrose, it's the same thing, but you obviously expect a lot better from Ambrose.
Right.
And no promo ever beats the Steiner math promo. There's no better promo.
2/3 of me is 4/5 of somebody else. I don't even remember the numbers, but it was god awful. MJF with Wardlow beat the shit out of Marco Stunt. That's enough about that. What I did like was I liked the Arn and Jake sit down chatting. It was two old fellas telling the story they need to about their guy, and it got me more pumped for more pumped for the Cody Archer match. It really did. These guys are great.
Yeah, it was off the cuff too. I think you can tell that none of it was written for these guys. Maybe you could kind of tell they were given some points. Arn Anderson was like, well, let's not forget that Mike Tyson's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's such and such a date, and don't forget to order for $49.99. They got their points in there, but other than that, it was off the cuff, and it was a couple of old timers sitting down, like, back in the day I'd have whipped your ass, or well, how about I do it now? I liked it. I thought it was a very good promo that got the point across.
It's funny, their voices and their ability to do promos is what got both of them noticed in the first place, by the respective peers and that, and got them the careers that they did, because neither one of them, were jacked up on steroids or, bouncers or anything like that. They had the psychological part of it. And that's what made their careers, was their mind and their mouth.
The next part of AEW Dynamite starts the injury-plagued part of AEW that hampered the week. It starts with Orange Cassidy against Phoenix. Phoenix just takes... Man, does he miss everybody. He missed everybody off of that dive off the top rope. his shoulder should have been exposed. How hard he hit that mat! Boom! And you saw him clench it instantly. You knew he was done. He was hurt. You know, again, if you get hit by a car, you're going to take a couple days off. He needed a couple days off after falling off the top rope. He really did.
Yeah, I think he was probably still patting himself on the back from the kick the week before where he destroyed Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it looked like he was on a rope right to his head then, and then the next week he just misses everybody.
Then we slide along to the women's tag team match. It's Nyla and Britt against Statlander and Shida. And this has huge ramifications, I believe, in AEW for the next few months. Britt's going to make an announcement this coming Wednesday, but I think this has ramifications for a while. And kind of like Kofi Kingston and Ali was getting the stroke. Kofi takes his spot, he gets a stroke. Statlander now, maybe next to be pushed because Britt's now on the shelf. That having anybody tossed on your leg has got to hurt. But having Nyla tossed on your leg and you just saw Britt's face, you couldn't hide the pain. As big as, I'm not saying this mean, as big as Nyla is, you still saw Britt's leg bend in half. I instantly thought of Jason Kendall running down first base, stepping on first base, and then his ankle just twisting the wrong way, and you saw bones from Kendall's ankle just pop out. I thought we were going to see that from Britt. I really did. I thought, damn, her leg is destroyed.
He never won a ring in Pittsburgh, did he? He wanted to. He said that's why he was in Pittsburgh. I'm joking, and they would lose 100 games a year, Mark. Right. You're shaking your head like, no, I don't think so. No, they were terrible.
Right.
Kendall wanted a ring, though. He said that's why he signed.
I want a ring.
Right. So do I. The Yankees aren't hiring though right now.
Detroit might be.
Yeah. So that tag team match, you know, you put your stars in harm's way before pay-per-view, but it's something you have to do, I think. Not put them in harm's way, but that's a match you have to have.
What a dick.
It's good booking. No, I'm saying
go wrestle on tax before the pay-per-view.
We've all seen it, like, you have a world championship match, and then you have, like, a top contenders match.
Right.
Boom. Throw them all. Undertaker versus Diesel at WrestleMania, Michaels versus Brett at WrestleMania. They put them in a tag team match, Undertaker and Brett versus Michaels and Diesel. It's that kind of idea, and something could have gone wrong there. Unfortunately, something went wrong in this match, and Britt is out, from the stories I've heard, a good 8 or 9 months. But we'll see what she has to say. The match was very good. Nyla Rose is a champ in more ways than one. When Britt went down, she improvised and fought the fight on her own.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Britt obviously recovers as quick as possible. You know, hometown
gal,
favorite, hometown gal. And
she got the win yesterday in the Can Crushers Revolutionary Tournament, though.
I do hope that she went to MJF's doctor, the one that helped him recover from the
I fell right into it.
The career-threatening hangnail. I think if she goes to him, she'll be back in a week or two, but we'll see what happens.
God damn it, Chad. I like the bit about Sean Spears having his own news broadcast, kind of challenging Cody. I mean, Dustin. This is the second time I said those two mixed up. It leads to a match on Saturday night, and we'll get to that. And I do have some beef about that. But Sammy G against Hardy. Guys, this was just set up for the Young Bucks and Hangman to return. But Hangman needs signed by somebody in the NFL. Dude ran 100 yards, cowboy boots, in like 3.2 seconds.
I was like, holy shit, who the hell's that running in? It's Hangman Page, and then he's in frickin' cowboy boots. He runs faster than most receivers in the NFL.
Yeah. Oh, God.
The whole show was just a typical go-home show before pay-per-view. but it was all fun. It really was. You had matches, you had storylines. It just was, here's everything that's going to happen. Here's just a little taste of it. It's good marketing, guys. If you're a wrestling fan and you enjoy AEW, this made you want to buy Saturday night.
And we did. We're going to get there. I'm going to piss one of our avid listener fans off. I'm going to call her out by name. Ashley Ludwin, I still hate the Young Bucks just because they posed like douchebags at the end of this episode. God, I hate them.
Jeez Louise. They're growing on me. I like them.
Yeah, so does, gangrene grows on you too, but I don't like that.
I thought you were going to say gangrel, but... All right. The pay-per-view, I didn't take notes about the buy-in because we were getting set up for beers and food and everything. We really needed to pay attention to it. If you want to talk about the buy-in match with the Best Friends and Party of Five, that's great, but I got no notes on that.
No, it was a fine tag team match. So the Best Friends won, and I guess now they are number one contenders, right? It was essentially number one contenders match.
Correct.
A little sportsmanship. They shook hands before the match. Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right. So it starts with the Casino Royale ladder match, Chip on a hanging device. And, of course, Ray Phoenix is out, so Chad's favorite, Joey Janela, steps in for him. And I think it fit perfectly where he was there. Him and Phoenix, not on talent, but what they did in the match were that you could just switch them out. Phoenix was going to get beat up. Janela took a great beating. Good. Boom. Nothing gained, nothing lost. The big surprise, we haven't had him on our radar. I thought maybe he was still injured in, his shoulder. I wasn't expecting him to make his way to AEW this fast. Brian Cage. And man, does he fit in AEW like that. That was me trying to snap my fingers.
Yeah, managed by Taz, too, which was a surprise because I believe he was on, maybe not on the commentary team. No, it was Ross, Shivani, and what the hell's his name?
Excalibur,
thank you. So maybe he was backstage, like in vignettes and whatnot, talking about who's going to win which match. But yeah, I was surprised to see him now as a manager, and he's in the intro music too with whatever the hell he says. No one is ready for Asuka, or whatever the hell he says. No one is ready for Cage.
Okay.
No, but that was interesting. I'd be curious to see how he works as a manager. It's good to see managers in AEW. And you're right, this guy fit right in. Just a physical, beastly specimen.
When Taz come out, I turned to Mark and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be big. And then Cage steps out.
And it literally was big.
And we seen him at WrestleCade last year. Dude is just...
He was at an IWC show recently.
Yep.
Late last year.
He's got good talent when they let him do it. He showed a bit of it last night. This is, to me, is a huge pickup for them. Very huge. This is, I don't want to say it's not on the thing of Moxley, of course, but this is somebody that will get a break and obviously is being thrown right in. They're building up their big man division. So there's going to be able, it's not as much as I like seeing Marco Stunt get his ass kicked by Wardlow and like anybody else. It'll get old, but I'm glad they're getting some big guys in.
Going into this, a question for both of you. Going into this, who is your pick to win this, not knowing the surprise?
That's tough. My favorite would have been Orange Cassidy, my sentimental favorite, just because I loved his promos going into this, where he's like, is this where whoever bleeds first loses? No, that's a first blood match. It reminded me of Chest Flexor, Mark, when he was high-stakes champion.
Wow.
And you and I are sitting ringside, and he goes, maybe I'm going to pick a boot camp match. Whatever. Maybe I'll pick a Ugandan death match. He's naming all these matches, and you yell, they're all the same fucking thing. Pick one.
They are.
He didn't know how to win the match. And then he asked Jim Ross about the ladder. How does it work? And he's got to climb the ladder. He's like, oh, I got to climb that. He's so much fun. Shoot. I tried to remember the tag team. The tag team that was in it. And the one guy had a singles match against Jericho for the championship.
Scorpio Sky was my pick.
Yes. Sky was my pick. I'm getting better at the names. I'm starting to watch more AEW and get better at the names. Scorpio Sky was my pick.
Right, mine too. Chad, quick.
I hate Mark because he's doing this bullshit on purpose. Because he asked me who my pick was before the match. And I said Orange Cassidy. And he's like, he's growing on you. I was like, no, he's not. Shut up. Watch TV. I'm just going to leave. My pick was Orange Cassidy.
Next up was MJF against Jungle Boy. And my thoughts right off the bat, this match did more for Jungle Boy than it did MJF. MJF got the win. It was the right, I think it was the right thing. But Jungle Boy looked so good in this match that he actually, my air quotes, won. You know, not on wins and losses, but he won because he looked so strong and good that he pushed. MJF's an upper echelon guy in AEW, right, guys? Yeah, you're both nodding good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he looked that good against this guy, and you're going to see more from Jungle Boy in the future.
There were moments I thought he was going to win. I genuinely felt he's pulling off an upset here. That's how good this match was. It made me believe from start to finish.
Yeah, this right along with you guys. They both had the match that they needed to. You know, MJF, he's not going to win without being dirty no matter who he's against. So there was going to be some shenanigans, but it didn't, any bullshit that he didn't take away from the match. And they had a good physical match for guys that are close, you know, similar size-wise and everything like that. I loved it.
Cody against Archer, the match itself was good. We had a lot of banter via text over this match. Where do we start? Well, let's start by bitching first. Shad and I looked at each other, and the TNT Championship is a ripoff of the NWA television title, and then I'm bitching about it, but Shad still has his ear to the TV, and they say that the title is not complete, and they're going to fix it and have it on Wednesday night. Why bring it out then?
There's going to be gold plating put on it. And I'm like thinking, why the hell would you admit that? Hey, here's our generic title that, you know, is half-ass finished. Here, congratulations. Oh, hold the title off if it's not done. Oh my gosh, that was stupid. And then they tried to cover their asses this morning in saying that the title is paying homage to the NWA TV title with its coloring. So they're going directly back on what the hell they said last night. It's not paying homage to anything. Maybe the old hardcore title that Mick Foley had.
Go ahead. You're biting it a bit.
I disagree with you, Mark. I partially agree with you, Chad. I'll agree in that. Just don't mention it. You got to have a belt. You absolutely must have a belt to present for the first time ever in a tournament final. You have to. As far as the match goes, this had me on the edge of my seat. I didn't know who was going to win. This is the first time in a long time where I genuinely jumped out of my seat and screamed when somebody won. I was happy for Dustin. I wanted him to
Cody,
win.
You did the
I
same
do this
thing
all the time. I was happy for Cody. I wanted him to win. He deserves it. So,
Iron Mike Tyson made the match, though. This was some of our text back and forth. He was yes, of course he was involved, but
he was a fan.
They just said, go out, and when somebody wins, just give them this title. Do whatever you want to. When they asked him if Arn got involved, his shitty-ass nod, if you guys could see me doing it right now, I clearly stole it from his smirk, and he's like, then he thumbs him out of the way. Tyson loves wrestling, and
He does.
As much as he's going to have another fight against Holyfield or whoever he's fighting, I wish he would be involved more because he is a character for wrestling.
When he loves it. Go ahead, Chad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say he was a fan. He was, when they were shooting shots of him outside the ring sitting there, he just reminded me of the fat kid in the candy store.
Me.
He's just so damn happy, and he looked like he was having a good time. And to me, the thumbing off Arn Anderson, and you could tell Arn was trying not to laugh because it was so well done. But then the best one was when Jake was coming down with a snake in the bag, and Mike jumps up there and he sits the belt down respectfully, puts the belt down, takes off his shirt, and he looks at Jake and he was like, "Come on, mother."
Oh, you're not going to say fuck today.
Wow, that one's a little bit more than just the normal F-bomb. But, it was great. The match was a great match. I'm glad they had Cody win. It's about time. Somebody there, thank God it was Cody and not the young skanks or whatever the hell their name is.
Yeah.
But
my thoughts on the title is, okay, don't mention, I'm still pissed about this. Give this incarnation of the title to Cody. Cool. Have him defend it a couple times. Have him fight somebody that steals it and then throws it in the river, and then they have to bring a new one back to have the title that they wanted to have. This is like something that you made in shop class, John. It really is. It is just thrown together. You dicked around the whole 9 weeks. The last day the project's due, you take shit, shine it up, and hand it in, and get your 75% and call it a day. That's what this title reminded me of.
Wow. How do I follow that other than call you an asshole? But I digress. I was going to say, geez, it's got to be well over 40 years, or close to it anyway. Muhammad Ali was in a shoot against Antonio Inoki. It was wrestler versus boxer. Predated MMA and UFC by generations. It was to see who the better fighter would be. And I guess it was a shoot. But Fred Blassie managed Muhammad Ali because he was a villain manager. But in his book, he says deep down he was really hoping Inoki would win. And nothing ever happened. Inoki would just lie there on his back. But Ali wanted to get down on the mat. He told Blassie between rounds, let me get down on the mat with him and just punch him in the face and knock him out. And Blassie said, no, if you get on the mat with this guy, you're done. And it was only a few years later where we saw it again, where Muhammad Ali was in the crowd and he got in the ring and was like throwing jabs and whatnot. Muhammad Ali picked him up and slammed him, and he sold the ever-loving shit out of that slam. My point is, Ali and Tyson are real wrestling fans. They respect it. They love it, love it. They're not afraid to put it over. They have enough self-confidence to know putting over this product is not going to damage who they are. It's only going to enhance them with marks like us. I have much respect for Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson as far as their being wrestling fans goes. Tyson was so much fun to watch during the course of this match. Speaking of F-bombs, you didn't hear this. Chad, did you hear this? My whole family heard it. During the poker chip match, someone says, "You fucking motherfucker, clear as day."
I didn't. I didn't.
That was the one that we pointed out. You heard that. You were, I don't know, I think you had a wing stuffed in your nostril or something. I don't know what the hell you were doing.
I don't know how he skimmed over all the high spots in the ladder match, but go ahead, Chad.
I just wanted to bring up another Muhammad Ali thing. This was his...
Apparently we're a boxing podcast today.
Well, no, this was another wrestling thing that he did. He did an angle after Junkyard Dog left Mid-South for WWE.
Not Junkyard Dick.
That's right.
Not Junkyard Dick. He did an angle with the Snowman and Jake Roberts and knocked Jake Roberts out.
You're looking at me like I should remember.
You should remember this. What the hell's wrong with you?
I don't remember what we ate last night. Nonetheless, we get what we think is going to be a Brit update then, but the guy comes out and says, the doctor, not the guy. The doctor comes out and says, the injury's bad, but not as bad as the patient. I lost my shit. I lost my shit right there. This is where John sends a text, it's all a work. I don't think it's a work, but it just enhances Brit being, Brit, we love you, the bitch dentist that she is. And I had to make sure I said dentist, because she is a dentist.
She is. You're absolutely right. This goes back, I quote Al Snow all the time. Number one, it's about the fights. Number two, it's about making them guess what's real. Here we are trying to guess what's real. It's what draws you in. No other form of entertainment is subject to this level of scrutiny. You don't watch a movie, a play, and try to determine what's real. You don't listen to a song and wonder if the country singer really got his heart broken.
I've critiqued some plays that I thought were real. Sorry, that's an inside joke. Nobody else gets that, but okay.
Mark used to come to my plays as a critic and take notes, and they were ridiculous. But he came anyway, and he showed support. Anyway, wrestling, you have to make them guess what's real. And AEW is doing a brilliant job of that, particularly with this Brit situation. Is she really hurt? Is she not hurt? They had x-rays. Guess what? They also had x-rays of Bob Orton's arm. That went on for a year and a half.
Hey, Mike Sharp, x-rays for his, and that went on for like 30 years.
Bro.
Yeah. So Penelope Ford gets thrown in a match against Statlander, and this is where Statlander, you guys are out of control now. Statlander is now going to take the rub, I think, that Britt was going to get. I really think, Statlander just gets pushed along. What rub? Oh, you touched my nose. God
the
damn.
boop, not the rub, the boop.
The boop. You're a boop. This was just a match. Statlander wins. Ford did what you needed to do.
I enjoyed the hell out of this match. This was a potential match of the night for me on an absolutely stacked card. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever. And I want to elaborate just a little bit. Please give me a minute. This is better than had Britt Baker been in the match, and let me explain why. These two women's styles match each other a little more, and they were able to put on a high energy, high intensity match. And that doesn't necessarily have to mean flying all over the place, but their styles complemented each other a little better. When Britt comes back, what I would like to see of her is a little more Razor Ramon type of action. I know that's passe and it doesn't work, but Razor said, I had 6 moves, 8 moves. Kurt Hennig told me, do a move and just stand there. I think that would suit her better. Do something devastating. Act like you have someplace to be. You have a molar to pull. You have a cleaning to do. Hurry up and get up. Do another devastating move. I don't think today's style of bouncing off the walls suits her strengths. Just my opinion, my 2 cents on her. As far as this match goes, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I like this match. Say it again, I still can't believe that Penelope Ford that was in IWC is one that's in AEW now. She's changed a bit, and enhanced, if you will. And Chris Statlander's she's good. She's that good.
Spears comes out, makes his announcement that Cody's not here. He tells Ref Aubrey to make the count. The count starts.
Dustin,
yeah. Damn it. Now I've done it 3 times this show. And Dustin appears, right in front of the camera. This is my beef. Dustin has just been knocked off. Injury plague, pow, 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 beaten up. This is where Dustin could have came back as the natural or an incarnation of something to show that he's a badass again or something. You could have taken the paint and the spandex off Dustin and give a better story. I'm going to, again, we talk about WrestleCade all the time, that he said himself something is going to change, and I want it to be the outfit. It's just me bitching.
Agree. No, agree 100%. We could have alluded to Goldust, which we got. When he spanks him, that was a little bit of Goldust when he pulled his shorts down and slaps his ass. That was a bit of Goldust. We didn't need the gold, even though it's red and black. He still has half his face painted like he did at times for Goldust. We didn't need that outfit to remind us of that period in his life. We got it through some of the action. I would have liked to have seen, and I know he's his own person. I know he is, but part of being his own person was when he was his father's son and played that part. I would not have minded at all cowboy boots, a flannel, and a shit-kicking kind of match. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you guys. I would have liked to have seen the transformation, but I think that they're holding some things back for a pop and that until they get audience back. And I think this is one of them. I said that to Mark last night. I think that they're holding that back.
Chad's got
another good match. I still have to laugh the ass slapping because that brings back the old lighthearted Goldust, I guess is a way to put it. But the end part where he stripped him down, we couldn't figure out what the hell is this. Is this a tuxedo match? And he's stripping him down, and he gets him down to his underwear, and on the front of his underwear, right over his pecker, is a picture of Tully Blanchard.
I thought for sure his balls were hanging out by accident.
Oh my God! Chad's other question is what's up with Brandy? Brandy's only coming out with Dustin anymore. He wants to know if they're keeping it in the family. So that's a question to all of you.
No, she's coming out with QT Marshall. I mean, are they just like
swinging?
What the hell? Are they swingers?
John Anderson sang a song years ago, probably 30 plus, just a swing, and so maybe I don't know what the hell. Great match. I did like it. The announcement that All Out is September 5th. Excited for that. Maybe that's the one that we can open up the.
Love it. Yep, I'd love to.
So, then we have Shida taking on Nyla Rose. I love this match. I'm really loving Shida. I bitched about her again. The critique of clothes. Why did she wear that stuff last night? Like she wears so much. I just hated her outfit, but she won. It helps the women's division with her being champion because now Statlander has a shot and Penelope can have better matches than just Nyla destroying people. So great move there by AEW.
This was such a good match. The contrast of looks, you have one really big, strong lady against one smaller lady. The contrast of styles, power moves versus finesse. But in the end, it came down to heart because they just beat the crap out of each other. It was no DQ, no count out. Not to look ahead to the main event, but in a way, the main event, as good as it was, kind of cheap and things. But we'll get to that. This was just a very good match. It was a very good match by two women who were determined to win. You couldn't pick a winner. I couldn't pick a winner. I didn't know who was going to win. They kept me guessing the entire time. What more is there to say? Some crazy bumps, hard-hitting match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a great match. The two things that stand out is when Shida jumped and kicked Nyla's head into the poker chip or whatever. That looked well connected, well placed. And then to me, the hit of the night was when Shida co-caught her with the freaking kendo stick in the ear, right across the ear, and I was like, oh shit! I don't care if those kendo sticks are split or how loose that is. No, that had to hurt. I'd have fallen down, then just pinned me down. Done. I'm done.
Moving along to, they dubbed it the main event on the pay-per-view of Brody Lee against Moxley. because apparently we said that the Inner Circle and the Elite wasn't a sanctioned match, maybe because it was literally all over the place. So you have Brody Lee against Moxley for the AEW Championship, and man, I loved the barrier, the stage breaking. I love the ending to this match. I really did, with Moxley picking up the win.
All of it was fantastic. Just call it a no DQ match. Guys, at some point the ref has to say, hell with this, guys. I'm calling it. How many times can he say get back in the ring?
Right.
Just say at the beginning. Someone get on the mic. Brody Lee, if you got any guts, let's make this a street fight. Fine. Now the championship advantage is taken away from the champion. But don't fight outside for 20 minutes. Don't essentially make this an ECW fight. And then, there's no count out there. The ref never got to 20. The ref never disqualified anybody. That's my only beef with this match. Just call it what it is from the beginning.
Well, I don't think they wanted to call it a street fight, because then you could have my disciples, the rest of the Dark Order, coming out, I would think. That's why, street fight, you can meet up at the laundromat and fight again.
But then what do you call it? Why does the ref simply not just call a double count out or a double DQ at some point?
Now, at the beginning, when they were fighting in the outside in the corner, Jim Ross did say the referee is
lenient,
is being very lenient, and Tony followed up with, because it's a world title match, they want to see a winner. So I think that was kind of like their way of, okay, these guys are going to spend 90% of their match outside the ring type deal.
Yeah. All right. I'm moving along. You guys are. The Moxley wins, good match, but all right. The Inner Circle against the Elite in the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, and I didn't take notes because I was just
laughing too hard.
I was laughing as much as Tony Schiavone was. Schiavone could not keep a straight sentence going. He sounded like he was talking Martinez. It really did. He was just mumbling and and it was amazing. Why my beef is yet again. Damn it! Why does Sammy always have to take the loss? Why does Sammy have to take the loss? I agree. They're starting to bury him. They really are. Chad says no.
I agree. I didn't like him taking a loss in this, but I think what they're doing with him is he is taking so much shit. They're going to go one way or another. The Elite's going to get tired of, the Inner Circle is going to get tired of him losing matches for him, boot his ass out, turn him, or they're prepping him to be an upset for Moxley.
That'd be great.
I think they're doing right by him, but I just think that they're looking further down the line than this match with him.
So let's talk about some of our favorite spots in this. First of all, I was so happy to see Salt being come back into wrestling. Salt in the eyes. I went nuts. I'm like, Fuji. It was the last time I've seen it, and I went nuts. The bar thing where Hangman has a drink with Jack Hager, Jake, whatever the hell his name is, Jack Swagger Hager. That was great. Go ahead, somebody jump in.
Yeah, they have a drink, and then he punches him in the face, and Hager runs him across the bar. And Shimon says, how many movies have we seen where someone gets run across the bar? Fantastic. Loved it. How many people were drinking at that bar before those guys got there?
It was supposed to, we're closed. It's quarantined. They haven't cleaned up since last football season. Season.
He ran him across so many dirty dishes and glasses. Love it, though. Don't question it. Just enjoy it. Suplexed for 100 yards and then spikes his head. challenging the call on the field, and he goes in there with her. Jericho goes in there with the referee to look at the replay, which is a little creepy. And she's like, "You can't be in here with me." He's like, "Well, you're a shitty referee."
Getting painted, getting a line.
Oh, you bastard! That was mine. The coming out with the line painter page and going right up over Jericho's crotch and his body and over his head. That was great. The Matt Hardy and his teleporting and changing underwater while he's smiling and giving the sign. And poor Ortiz, not being able to swim and then forcing him to get into the water.
It was all right. Time to stir the pot. Why? And I know where we're going because we talked about this earlier, but why did we like this better than Money in the Bank rooftop ladder match? Why? It was the same stupidity.
I'm going to say straight up, right out, WWE has been doing stupid, unbelievable, intelligence insulting shit for years upon years. The same crap, the same storylines, the same people. AEW, this was something, and it was funny. It was funny, but again, it was like guys beating the hell out of each other, or trying to, and just, I don't want to say stupid things, but it was just a different flavor, different guys.
Yeah.
It's not. It didn't have the McMahon hand in it, and to me, that makes anything better right off the bat, no matter how shitty it is.
John?
You mentioned years upon years, Chad. The Gobbledygooker did nothing to forward an otherwise very good Survivor Series. No, but to his point, Mark, it's always the same shit. You talk about his hand in it. His hand was in that match sanitizing his other hand. It's just stupid shit that doesn't forward anything. When Asuka's on the elevator, go to the top and win. Every point during the course of the night, someone, as stupid as this shit was, someone tried to hurt someone and they tried to win. That coin chip match, they tried to win. Now's your chance to climb the ladder. Why aren't they climbing the ladder? Well, they're both kind of in the ring at the same time. They don't trust the other one not to hurt him. Well, they're going to work together to get the other guy in the ring. This guy's hurt. Music hits. Guy runs to the ring. He didn't get to the ladder in time. They did silly stuff, but they were trying to win. Now, in terms of the main event, they did crazy stuff, but it was to win. He suplexed him 100 yards. He banged his head off he spiked his head like a football on the field. It was all to hurt the other person. Now, add in a touch of reality here in that all of these guys know each other.
What?
All of these guys, they do. All of these guys respect each other. They want to make this company the best it can be. They also want to win. When Team A takes the field against Team B, what happens before and after? Before, maybe they're talking to each other. After, they're high-fiving. Good luck the rest of the season. In between, they're pounding each other into the turf. That's what this reminded me of. These guys wanted to win. Along the way, there's some silliness, there's some slap-assery, but make no mistake, they want to win this fight. And that's why this silliness worked here. This silliness worked for John Cena and The Fiend. Because in the end, there were some moves, as crazy as it was, and there was a winner. It wasn't stupidity just for stupidity's sake. It was silliness in the context of what we're to believe is a competition.
All right. So overall, I just want a number. I want a number so we can move along to our next segment. What do you rate this out of our beer system?
6.
Yeah.
By far. Yeah, 6. This was a great pay-per-view. All right. When we come back, these guys some of them have notes on WWE. I stuck to my guns, and I only watched one match.
What's up, guys? This is Jared Fritz, official for the NWA, and you're getting Ref Fit with the Can Crushers podcast.
And welcome back to Can Crushers. It's time now to cover the WWE.
This is getting to a point where it's starting to create friction in my household. My son wants to sometimes watch it. Sometimes he's playing Fortnite with his friends. I don't care to ever watch it again. I am ready to cancel my WWE subscription. The old school stuff isn't even worth it. But I keep it because he likes to tune into the pay-per-views. At minute 89, nearly an hour and a half into the show, at 9:29 p.m., guys, the Iconics came to the ring. And I like the Iconics, so I watched. But at 9:29, there had been 4 minutes of in-ring action. 4 minutes. That is insulting. I don't care what your measuring stick is, what your standard is. It's not pro wrestling anymore. It's sports entertainment. There's vignettes and this and that. The Never-Ending Story Part 3 with these guys in the ring. 4 minutes. And then the Iconics, I'm thinking, okay, we got a little something going. It's going to be a good match. And they get DQ'd for ramming her head off the turnbuckle. The referee's like, you made a gun signal. The match is over. Forget it. We're done. That was an IWC reference.
It was. I know. I got it. Yeah.
No, so the match is DQ'd. Are they? I don't even know. And then there was a match. I gave up. I came upstairs to my room. My son came upstairs and said, I don't even know. The Scottish psychopath. No, Zelina's husband, Black. Black is in a match, and it's always a good match. At least come watch Aleister Black. Fine. I go downstairs. 2 minutes maybe, and it's over. Another DQ, I think. And I was furious. And this is what I mean about friction in the family now. My son feels badly that he called me back downstairs. I'm like, buddy, you watch it if you want to watch it. Don't make me watch this anymore. I can't take it. I clearly am not the target audience for this brand.
Yeah. I did not watch Raw. I didn't even record it. I was done. But I did leave. Did you watch Raw at all before I move along?
The only thing that I honestly seen was the end with Selena Vega and the Caribbean Connection guys all in the ring, and Apollo Crews coming down and beating the piss out of Andrade. That was all I see. I didn't watch it.
How good would she be somewhere else, Selena Vega?
Right?
I love her where she's at. She's, she's smoking. I mean, that's all it is. And her voice and as cocky, arrogant as she is. No, I like her where she's at because they actually feature her a bit because,
it's all they got.
It's all they got. Okay, next.
SmackDown. I watched it for one reason. One reason only. One, to see if it was going to be a hokey match or if Sasha was going to get involved. You guys know I love Bayley. I respect Charlotte. This is why I watched SmackDown, for the Bayley and Flair match. It was great. It was great. Again, these two, we always make the reference that they could wrestle with a broom. Both of these gals could wrestle with the broom and entertain us. And Shad wants to be the broom. Unbelievable. I loved it.
Chad's got a one-track mind today.
He does. All of a sudden, he snapped. He's going to snap a Slim Jim or something. I don't know. Bayley, this extends the storyline. The one storyline that I care about in WWE right now is when Sasha's going to screw over Bayley. Really, that's it. It really is. I want to see that match again because we've been teased for years now when this is going to happen. And I understand why they're going to keep prolonging it because, as we said, this is a match that needs the pop.
What else do they have?
Well, right. This is a match that needs the pop. The fans will go apeshit when Sasha and Bayley have their match again. After that, I was on, and I saw Mandy come out in her Daisy Dukes, and she looks great.
Bastard.
But that fat bastard, and
Hey.
Sonya still, I want her away from Ziggler. Whatever. I'm done. All right. Did you watch SmackDown at all? Of course you didn't. No, you didn't.
I watched Caryland.
Well, we're going to get there. Did you watch, besides put your tongue back in your mouth?
I'm sorry. The Bailey and Charlotte match was a good match. I did watch that. Mandy Rose coming down and the Daisy Dukes. That was worth it right there.
Of course it is.
Her and Otis and their love story. It's going strong through this pandemic. I wish them the best of luck.
All right, so we all did watch Caryland. John made reference to this, and it was. I like what they did for NWA, guys. If you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube. Make sure you get and watch it. It's great. Caryland this week was an introduction of everything that they're going to have, which is amazing. But I was tweeting at NWA a couple times during this show. We have an English professor on our show. We've had an English professor on our show for 2 years, well before Caryland was thought. NWA rips us off now and has a history teacher in the form of Tim Storm. I instantly hate NWA. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We love and great that you support us because you just ripped us off. I got likes from Jared the Ref. I got a like from Royce Isaacs and Lagana. They legit liked it. So I called them out. They clearly understand they took our shit. Which, whatever.
They did.
It's okay. It's okay. They did their own twist. It's just, the bullshit.
Thanks for sticking up for me, Mark. I appreciate it.
The bullshit.
Thanks for having my back.
In the Koloffs. Come on. Everybody's got Russians, right?
Yep.
And then, I forget the other one, of course, but the Tim Storm one was one. So they released one episode of the craziness already, and it's Eli Drake's podcast, and he opens talking about Shad, and then he just gets crazy. I nodded off watching this, but I'll go back. What other ones you guys... I can't wait to watch them all, but it's just more stuff to watch. Will we cover all of it? Nah, unless it's crazy. But go ahead. Somebody. I'm rambling.
I learned what it takes from Allison Kay to put on a successful wrestling promo.
Maybe she was the other one I called out.
That was fun to watch. And then she's like, do I storm off here or do I look in the camera? Because those are the only two things I know how to do. That was pretty entertaining. And then the other thing that stood out to me, Monrovia is a beautiful country. The contrast in the volcanic soils and the oceans, it's got all facets of natural beauty.
Chad's got nothing. You shut Chad up on Monrovia.
Wow.
I was just thinking I found Mark karate SpongeBob video game this week that he ordered on Amazon delivery 6 hours probably, and
it was here. I have to get my Dreamcast back out to play it though.
I did not watch Caryland, but I did watch the Eli Drake podcast. If you haven't heard it, people, if you don't want to listen to the whole thing, to each is his own, but listen to his opener and how he talks about Shad and what he did for him and things like that. You could legit see him being broken up from somebody who knows a little bit about the video world and shooting. They purposely were kind of back off of him to not show his emotion right there as much. Just even more respect for Eli Drake.
Thank you. He did it.
Awesome promo.
All right. What else do we got?
I didn't know really what all to make of this. It was entertaining, but I'm not going to lie. There were moments I was like, what the hell am I watching? What is the point of all this? What is this forwarding?
It was a giant promo. That was,
I guess, yeah. Benjamin Franklin did all these things, and that's great. But you got any matches coming up, Storm? You training? It was something different. It was entertaining. I had fun watching it.
All right, that's really all I got written down on the docket, the coverage. You guys bring anything else to the table besides a website that you want to talk about?
No, I don't want to talk about a website. I do want to mention that it is the end of an era, and sometimes in life we move forward, and it's the right thing to do. Apparently, neither of the major promotions will go forward with house shows even once fans can return. That's sad news for me. It's got to be sad news for a lot of fans. House shows hold special places in our hearts. They're always fun to attend. But I think it's now the nature of the business today. A heavy hitter like Cody Rhodes says they're antiquated. He tells his workers, you have to be someplace 1 day a week. Every 3 or 4 months, you have a second day in that week. The other guy, Vince McMahon, says, I need to compete with that. How do I do that? All right, you guys need to be somewhere 2 days a week, sometimes, 3 days a week, depending on the month. I think one followed the other. Otherwise, you would have, I believe, WWE wrestlers willing to take a fairly significant pay cut to go work 1, maybe 2 days a week. We talked about fathers earlier with Shad and what they would do. Every generation, and this is different, this is entertainment, but every generation wants better for the next generation. With no baseball, I've been watching MLB Network, and I watched, I think, the 77 World Series. And they're saying, the best team money can buy. Take a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. You've got Reggie Jackson.
I was waiting when we were going to get I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Reference?
No, where you change your voice. Impression, thank you, yeah. We didn't get one this week, so.
Reggie Jackson making $112,000 this year. Thurman Munson's making $85,000. Meanwhile, in 2020, you've got a guy pitching for the Yankees making $35 million a year. So the times have changed. You can argue that it's too much, but you always want better for the next generation of people doing whatever it is that they do. Too many sad stories in pro wrestling, you guys. Too many sad stories about life on the road and what it does to a mind and to a body. Am I going to miss house shows? Yes. Am I willing to trade that for these guys to have an easier time? Yes. Go ahead, Mark.
But time out. You aren't going to miss house shows. We aren't. WWE, AEW house shows, NWA, maybe a pop-up shows, whatever they're going to call them. Right. That brand isn't having house shows anymore because house shows back in the day brought wrestling to Paquita, Mississippi, or where, I don't even know where the hell I'm going, but whatever.
Right.
Now we have so much indie wrestling that covers for those house shows. You get to see. We always reference IWC because we all love it. You have IWC where Britt Baker and Wardlow started. You have OVW that is right on that same issue right now that they can't do anything. But for the love of God, if you were in Kentucky or Indiana, you saw Cena, Batista, Orton, all these guys, spreading their wings. Go to them. Again, I support indie wrestling because today you're going to see Bob Boone. That person is going to be turned into Hercules Hernandez, and that's not even a correct reference, guys. Don't look it up. But, you get the superstar there early, and then you build friendships with them. I can honestly say that, I keep saying this, Britt is our friend. Raylan is our friend. Wardlow we've spoken with. He was on Ethan's show a couple times. I could legit go have a beer with them, and that's where it starts in indie wrestling. And that's why house shows are not needed anymore. Because I would rather, John, we've said this a million times after a show in Erie we went to, I would have, if it was IWC that night or WWE running in Erie, sure as shit, we were going to go to the IWC indie show over a WWE event. Unless it was WrestleMania 1.
Right. Yeah, then all bets are off. I agree. But back in the day, Mark.
I agree. I know where you're going.
No. Yeah, and the future is upon us. And there is no going back. So, yeah, you're absolutely right on all points.
I'm going to be the rotten apple in this one. I do not think that the house shows are going to end. It's easier for AEW to say something like that because they really don't do house shows. Some of their guys have appeared at other events, so to me, it's easy for AEW. Vince, being the money-hungry bastard that he is, I don't think this is going to last long, if at all, past when this pandemic opens it up to where they can go back to arenas and that. Because Vince is the type, if he's losing a dime, he wants that dime back. And now he's going to be pissed off. Now he wants a quarter. Now he wants a quarterback. Not like a QB quarterback. No, not like a football quarterback. Like
we got Joe Flacco. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Good luck with that, jackass. But Vince.
Maybe lighten the load then. Maybe
that's what I think. I think they're going to lighten the load. I think they're going to have their superstars between the brands. And I think they're going to have like eventually a combined house show. So they're going to have to be somewhere 3-4 days a week max. But and why I say this is Vince, when he put the money into getting the WWE network and put all the pay-per-views on the WWE network for the first couple of years and not on DirecTV or anything like that, his thought was, I'm getting all the money. I'm not having to pay for DirecTV to have somebody buy it. Yeah, I'm not getting $20 from those companies for every buy or whatever it was, but I'm getting everything because the only place for the first couple of years you could see was on the WWE network. It's just not going to last. There's no way. I love indie wrestling and everything like that, just like you guys do, but there's no way that the main guys can survive without getting out there, without having shows in front of the fans, because the fans prefer the house shows over the main events because they get to see it's better. Like that one that I went to in State College a couple of months ago. If that was a pay-per-view, it would have been a 4.5, 5-star rating on a pay-per-view. So I don't think it's going to last long. I think when this shit clears up, they're going to get back into it slowly and on a more limited schedule.
Quick point to Chad's point, and then I have 2 quick questions for Chad. To your point, Chad, I believe at $60, the split, this sounds crazy, but I believe I'm right. It was either 55-5 or 50-10, with WWE getting the smaller number and cable, whoever it is that carried it, getting the larger number. So getting $50 or $55 out of the $60 for the pay-per-view. My other question to you, Chad, was there a direct address comma before that jackass?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
When you said good luck with that jackass, were you saying good luck with that, comma, jackass, meaning me, or good luck with that jackass, no comma, meaning Joe Flacco? I'm just curious. You can call me
the second one towards Flacco for the pure and simple reason, the bastard couldn't play his way out of the water boy position with Denver last year.
All right. But do guys jump ship? That was my other question. Will guys jump ship for the lighter workload?
Quickly,
Either you guys. What do you think?
Yes.
Okay.
With the way wrestling is and the mindset of wrestlers today, Chad's going to go on a tangent. Yes.
No. I'm just going to say,
we're an hour and a half, by the way.
Or to the point that Vince will have to fork over much more money.
Yeah.
Then it's like, if you want us, we only have to work 2 days a week with them. You want us to work 4, we want double the money. That's what's going to happen.
All right. Right now we have the Revolutionary Force Can Crushers tournament going on. on our Facebook page. We're still in round 1. Make sure you get out there and vote, guys. Give it the respect that you give our tag team, our heavyweight champion. You guys need to vote on these because they're tight. They really are tight matches. Second, part 2 of the Matt Bish interview will come up this Wednesday, and I don't know if you guys have listened to it. This guy's got stories. He's ready to unleash these stories on people that he's worked with. He's been in the business about 15, 17 years around there. They're not bad. They're great on-the-road stories. Like the one, spoiler, if you guys didn't listen Wednesday, he talked about he had kidney stones. And
oh, my God.
He still went to the event, and he had a stent. You guys know what a stent is.
Stop.
He got kicked in the lung, in the ding, and at the end of the night, he's pissing straight blood, and
I'm hanging up.
Eric Young is like, dude, you all right? He's like, I have kidney stones. He's like, what are you doing here? It's unbelievable. So he's gonna come back on, tell us a couple more stories, continue this in a couple more weeks. Just keep going because who doesn't want to hear stories like that?
Me?
Why you? All right, guys, you can find us all over Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. It's CanCrusher69. Our website's out there. It's linked to all those. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Boxcast, Stitcher. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there. We post them on Facebook. We're getting set, though, for our next Ask Can Crushers episode. We have some great questions in. So send them to our email. It's cancrusher69@gmail.com. And yeah, all right. Let's wrap this up. This is long. I didn't think just covering one event was going to go long. We're about an hour and a half. But we do need something to do next week. Chad was the last one to pick. John, pick an event for us to watch and cover next week.
Right now?
Yeah.
Holy cow. All right. I've really wanted to watch something with the AWA where the Freebirds battle the Road Warriors, but I can't think of an event. If it was a TV taping, what the hell it was, but you're going to make me pick something right now?
No. All right. So
let me look into this. How can I get this out to the masses?
You'll send it to me and I'll put it up on Facebook. Or you are also able to post stuff on Facebook as well.
Right.
So
I have the capabilities.
Yeah, so you can do that.
Okay.
Let us know at least by Tuesday. So because you're a busy man. You're a busy busy man. Let us know by Tuesday so we can get it watched and we can talk about it next week. You busy.
All right. Sounds good.
Can you guys do it together today beside me?
What? Maybe. I do want to throw one last thing out, guys. This is something that's gotten really huge online. We're talking about the bullying and the depression and stuff and everything like that. There is a center online. It's called BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com. It's free counseling service. You can do it either video, text messaging, anything like that. Hundreds of thousands of counselors around the U.S. Anybody, you need somebody, you don't want to talk to your friend or something like that. Again, do what you need to do, but call these people. Highly recommended. The ratings are off the wall with them. Give them a call.
I don't want to talk to you guys ever, but nonetheless, I digress. Sorry, that was a bad spot for me right there, but it was in my head, so I had to say it. All right, John, you have to start this because Chad only knows the end of it. Wrap this sumbitch up.
Yeah, Gorilla Monsoon's got 3 pens in his mouth, so let's go home. Remember, Chad, just because you're trash, it doesn't mean you can't do great things.
It's called the garbage can. Not a garbage can. He effed it up again.
Brain farted. Shut up.